Hello, welcome back to Smileys. Tonight it's part 2 of our discussion on chapters 3 and 4 of Forge of Darkness by Stephen Erickson. Right here, this guy. This is the full spoilers discussion. As Morris says, no holds barred. If you haven't finished both books, and the Malice and Book of the Fallen and Novels of the London Empire, I would suggest you steer clear. If not, and you're still here.
Oh, sorry. I'm just interrupting you. The thing is, not everyone has to worry about spoilers. Spoilers is not like end of the world. It's okay if you know what is going to happen. It might just help you enjoy it more.
Cortana's case is special then because we pretty much know what happens, right? So
yeah.
We've made this clear already. I don't need to recap. So chapter 3 and 4, we discussed this last time. If you haven't watched that, we'll leave the link in the doobly-doo. We will, right? Right? We'll remember.
We'll try to put the I link on the top.
Oh yeah, we could do that's extra professional, but I don't know where to point for that, so we'll pretend like we'll add it in post. Anyhow, enough with the fucking around. So, full spoilers discussion of chapter 3 and 4. So, the chapter starts off with Hout and Coria. And Hout has made of Coria a vessel, a Maib.
Maib.
It's Maib in Members of Ice, so whatever. It's Maib.
Yeah.
So that happened.
And what is she?
Are you going to come out and say it, or am I going to come out and say it about Coria?
No. Coria is just a Maib, and we are yet to see what's going on. She's just going to meet Arathan later on, and there's no real resolution because the third and maybe the fourth.
But we know who Coria is probably going to be.
We don't know. We don't.
We do know. We're fairly sure.
We don't. No. Okay, go on. Say it.
So beyond the obvious name being similar, they have very similar mannerisms sometimes with Quickwen.
What is your mannerism? What similar mannerism have you noticed?
They play with dolls.
Oh, what a shocker. I mean, there can only be 2 people in the whole world who can play dolls. Yeah.
And Varandas, who makes them. But
who makes them? Sorry?
Jagged Varandas.
Okay. No, I'm not clear on this.
People.
Please, if this is something from... Okay, right.
It's from this book. Like, he makes different dolls of different races, like the Polyad and the Nachts. Mm-hmm. And I think Hout commissioned Coria's dolls from him.
Oh, what?
But anyway, Coria Delath is probably one of the souls in Quickben. We got that aside. More I might disagree. We're moving on. So, Hout.
Yes,
you said you really liked Hout.
I do, yeah. Hout is fun because everything about him is fun. With his whole wearing armor to meet these guys, he knows what is he going to do with 20 of them. He's not going to like take a sword out and start killing them.
I mean, we know from Toll the Hounds that like Gothos kill like 50 IMAS in one go because they challenged them, right? So
yeah.
I have no doubt as to how it's martial prowess should things come to a head.
Okay, can I just tell you, because I just now I saw this Subterranean Press edition of Forge of Darkness, which obviously neither of us can afford. One of the description in that is that the Jagged are being described as a xenophobic lot. I don't think so. It's a race with xenophobia. Do you agree with that? I wouldn't call them xenophobic. They are misanthropic. They're
not xenophobic. They hate everyone equally.
Yeah.
Oh, they're very not selfish. What's the word?
Can we just call them weird and?
They're weird. They're introverts. They're introspective. They don't really care about other races because they have seen everything before, and they like wrote about other races and they've learned from them and stuff. So
no, what they have is this logical mind, which will continue, which will reach the conclusion no matter how harsh it is. Any your favorite bits about the economical suicide and all that. That's only because they're able to actually bravely consider the natural solution and
Yeah,
then
I did
decide that
say
this is what we have to do.
that I think the word I used was cojones. Like
What
facing
was?
these
Oh
things
yeah.
requires cojones. So, yeah, it takes a certain measure of courage to face these problems head on and like reach a conclusion that the Jagged reached, right? Because, okay, part of it was due to Gothos pricking them constantly because that's what Gothos does.
Well, did he
But
have to prick them constantly? I thought this was like just one time
he
thing.
just
He
like
called
stood
them
in the
and
Tower of
said,
Fate and said, "Civilization has failed. Debate me." And then they came along to debate him, and then they couldn't prove him wrong, and then they all fucked off one by one.
so you know
And
how
just
Jagged
Gothos
should be
never left.
described?
Like he just stayed there, and everyone else left around him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not xenophobia, it's not misanthropy, nothing. You just describe Jagged as being Jagged. There is no better description for that.
Yeah, just
Actually, I forgot. Why is he called the Lord of Hate? What does the title mean?
because he took their hate, and it's not a derogatory title as many people
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
It's because he expressed these hateful ideas, and they hated the ideas, not him, which shows a certain measure of like intellect to not resort to ad hominem attacks and say Gothos is just an idiot. But yeah, he essentially confronted and, as Callaghan would put it, skinned the
Jagged civilization. Yeah.
Jagged civilization, yeah, and exposed the ugly skin beneath. And
He's called.
everyone kind of realized that later that they're going to shit because there's nothing more deadly than success. They reached a belated conclusion of economic suicide, which is just the best way to put it I have ever seen.
Yeah.
And have you ever like seen something like this in other fantasy, like a race that dissolves their own civilization and like despises one another?
I read sci-fi,
Yeah.
but in that there's like a whole planet. Like each planet will have maximum like 3 people or 4 people. This is way back. I'm just remembering, and this is how they live. They live as alone as possible. They prefer solitude. And even when there is this thing of video calling, this is old sci-fi. I'm talking old school, like Asimov or someone. So they have video calling and all, and even that there has to be like entire preparation and all that. So this type of it's there, but this is a more philosophical idea, right? They have decided to move away from civilization. It's not like I'm so rich I can just have like half a planet to myself and live alone. That's not the concept here. They're consciously deciding that family, friends, these things don't matter. You just,
Because one of the convictions that the Jagged are challenging is the conviction that civilization is inevitable. There is, I'm going to get a bit off topic here, but there is this romanticism almost in especially Western, but general political thought that things like civilization or democracy or things like liberty or individual freedoms are inevitable, that they would have happened eventually because that is the most optimal way to run a country or a group of people. And so, in a way, it is demeaning to the battles and the struggles that people through the centuries have made to earn their rights. So, Jagged civilization dissolving in such a manner is a direct challenge to this. No, civilization is not inevitable. They don't have to go this way. They can go back, or they can stand still in time. There is no single line, arrow of time like there is in physics, for instance, in history. You don't just go forward and consequences be damned. That is not the only way. And I find that to be really interesting. Just that's all. They're just jagged. Just we haven't even gone to Gothos yet, or any other jagged for that matter. Just have seen Hout so far.
Do you have like friends like that whom you can just argue in the middle of something? just randomly pick an argument, go back and forth for a few days, and then stop?
I don't know. I think I used to, but not anymore. I wonder why. But yeah, no, I don't really have any friends like that, which I can just like go find and say, hey.
I have at least like one friend, and yeah, that we just randomly get in touch and randomly get out of touch. So, but we don't argue. There's hardly anything to argue on. But there are people like that who just say random hi, random friend. But I would still consider her a good friend. So,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I was just so impressed with that. I had to bring it up twice.
Yeah,
That
of course.
someone just comes up.
So the other thing I want to bring up is the Jack and Jellic, right? There's two of them.
Jalakan, there. What is the South people called?
The Jack
Jellic.
and the Jellic.
Okay, Jellic, Jack,
Jellican
and
is
the people.
the overall people.
Yeah.
Jack and Jellic are the two subcultures.
And this is the same we see in Witness. We're spoiling Witness too, right?
We don't see any Jellic anywhere, I don't think.
What is Neilgan and Gower? What are they?
They're white or black Jack.
They're Jack, yeah.
One is white Jack, there's black Jack. Like
No,
one's the bad guy. I think they're white Jack, and like Nilgan and Gower are black Jack.
yeah.
I think.
No, it's the same thing, right? The Jelak and the Jack are basically they're just divided by geography, and for some reason now they're all called Jack, is what I assume. Is there something I'm missing? Tell me.
Maybe, I don't know, because before the war, they were all one people, right? They were all Jellic. And then the Civil War happened, which, okay, by the way, if you haven't noticed the parallel to the Tiste people, welcome to class. But
Welcome to class.
yeah, the Jellic and the Jack have now split, and somehow the Jellic don't exist anymore in the Book of the Fallen. So they've either been re-assimilated or extinguished, or exterminated, if you wish to be more direct.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and they're also soul taken, so we know that exists.
Yeah. At least the
And they
name
also
comes up.
send what?
At least the word soul taken is used. So
Yeah, and they also send some hostages under the care, well, eventually under the care of Scarabandaris and Kagamantratulas. And they have
isn't that how we see Tulas shown in Book of the Fallen?
yes.
Initially, we see him being greeted by the hounds, isn't it? No?
I think his first appearance is just the dragons swooping in
Yeah. After
to
that.
find Karsa and the boys. Well, the boys being Traveler and Samar. But Samar's
And
honorary
someone
part
says,
of the boys.
Shouldn't we scatter or something?
We're getting
Why
off track.
3 passes? Let it kill us all in one pass.
We're getting off track. But yeah, the point
but
is...
it's summer day. We have to.
Yeah. I think the hounds in Full of Light have very similar names to the hounds we see in the Book of the Fallen. I
Do
think.
they have names in Fall of Light?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't
It could be.
remember.
It could be this book. I don't remember. I just remember like there's like names like Blind and Gear and stuff. So
Okay. This is what I did not pay attention. So I don't think we should be. Please go on. I'm just looking up the.
yeah, I don't know. What else do we have to say about this scene? The dolls.
The what?
The dolls are a very interesting parallel. You know, the Korea being a young goddess to people whom she is bored of, or
And
maybe
she's
she is.
eventually turned away from them.
Yeah, or
She's
maybe she
abandoning
is
them
trapped,
in its.
and she is like the subservient person to another goddess who is indifferent.
Maybe.
And like there's a lot. I used to think about this in the shower, and I forgot what I wanted to say now because it's been like a week. But yeah, this is something I had thought of. Like, there's different interpretations of that scene. Of like the most obvious parallel, obviously, like Korea and Mother Dark, right?
Yeah.
Because they're both goddesses to their people, and they eventually grow tired of them and they turn away.
Yeah.
Cool. And then there's another layer of like Korea being the, I don't want to say oppressed, but like the people who, like, her goddess turns away from her, and so on and so forth. But we've not seen more scenes of just this, so I can't extrapolate just based on this because I don't remember enough details. But Korea obviously comes up again and again throughout the Karkanos trilogy, so we'll see more of Korea later. And that leaves Neris, and I think I'll leave Neris to you because I gave my my opinions on Neris before.
I more or less already told you what I think about it. I think it's the society at large, which is not a good one. She is a victim of it. This is all she has known. You know, there is a lot of prejudice against single motherhoods and having illegitimate children. So I don't know. But no, I'm not going to say that. Ultimately, Neris is not good, but still, she's trying to do the best she can for her house. Think of her choices. Forget her inner monologues and forget all these thoughts about, Sandalath being an idiot and Orphantel being too much of a child and things like that. Forget all that. What about her actions? She's sending one of her of the family to Draconis and one to Purek. Both honorable houses and both on opposite sides. And hopefully one of them is going to be the winner, right? So she's playing her cards right. She's trying to take care of the house. And you should not judge her for what she's thinking. And she's also lost her husband, if you don't remember, to PTSD. So she's not exactly a happy woman in a contented place. She's lost her house. They're very poor. She's doing her best. She's even sending Sandalath back as a hostage, which is not something you do for someone at that age, isn't it? It's only for children, but still she manages to send Sandalath because she's ruthless. She wants good things for the house. You have anything to add?
Oh no, she just fails miserably later, but we'll get to that.
She what? Sorry?
She just fails miserably later. But...
She did not know that, right?
No, I mean...
She did what she thought was best for the house.
We'll get into the conversation of who is to blame for all of this and why it's Hunral, but we'll get to that later when we actually have the relevant chapters.
So at that time, are you going to bring up Neris and say that she was being a...
She does die, so yeah, probably.
No, all I'm saying is that she doesn't deserve that much hatred.
No, probably not. Just it's her inner POV and her inner thoughts that make her so dislikable. Because she's like, oh yeah, he's just a dumb bastard child, right? Whom I need to legitimize by lying to everybody and separating him from his mother and like keeping. It's just like politically motivated and expedient and like, yeah, I get it. I'm the Lessine guy after all, so I would know that. But it's just Lessine doesn't have their monologue.
Could have been written in a different way, and you would have liked Neris, isn't it? If she had some sort of inner conflict, saying that, oh no, I'm losing a daughter, I'm also losing a grandson, and if it was like a conflicted POV, we would all have loved it. What? Sorry.
Like Jane. Jane Ennis.
Jane Ennis. Yeah. So that's why we hate Neris and love Jane so much. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you
wonder what that's about me. Yeah.
No, what does it tell about Galan? He's manipulating the POVs into whatever he wants to make us have these impressions, right? Regardless of their actions, he's able to make us hate them or love them.
Precisely.
Yeah. I'm not going to buy any of his poetry books, no matter how hard he's selling here.
Yeah, sometimes it's very easy to forget that we view everything through Galan's eyes and then through Fisher's eyes.
Is it easy to forget? Excuse me.
Okay, like, what I mean is the book in and of itself is hard enough to decode that adding another layer and another layer of filters and lenses through which to view the whole thing, it just becomes a mess.
Yeah.
So, for my own peace of mind, as Galan puts it, I discard him entire, try to analyze the book in and of itself for what it says, and then I have to reapply the lens of, okay, so what is he trying to tell me here? Why is he trying to make me hate Neris?
it's good to discuss and have this out, right? Because yeah. So, are we done with Neris?
I
Do you have
guess.
anything more?
Not
What
really.
about Sandalath? Poor Sandalath.
She is
I think
weak
we
with
can just stop it.
imagination. She has the hots for a rake, because everyone does, apparently.
She doesn't have the hots for Rake. She just thinks of him as a
Okay,
father
to be
figure
fair,
or a
yeah, she
brother
was
or
like really
something.
young, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Though it's
The
interesting to
more you
note that
keep bringing up people loving Rake, I don't know. You're just
it is
projecting.
interesting to bring
Yeah.
up. I am projecting for sure. It is interesting to bring up that Sandalaf actually followed Selkas during the Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
So at
I
some point, no, like when they find her in Midnight Tides, she is a ghost among the slain.
yeah.
So Selkas. So at some point, she has to become acquainted with Selkas' ruin again, because obviously she knows him because she was a hostage in the house, but Selkas has to come back into the story and incorporate Sandalath, who by the end of Fall of Light is not in the best position. I don't remember exactly what happened, but yeah, let's just set that bit aside for the moment and just we'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
Sandalath is just weak with imagination, and she is being politically manipulated by Neris because expedience. So, yay.
When is her big chapter? Sandalath. Is it in Fall of Light? Is it in this book?
What do you mean big chapter?
There is just one chapter where we deal a lot with Sandalath and her. Okay, doesn't
I'm
matter.
guessing you mean Fall of Light.
Yeah, Fall of Light. It
6.
must be Fall
Yeah,
of Light.
I'm
yeah.
guessing you mean that. So I'm just gonna No, it's still a while away.
Right. I'm not doing that chapter. I'm calling right now. I'm not doing that.
It's
Doesn't matter. It could be 6 months away. I don't care. Anyway, so as
it's
you were
about 20
mentioning,
20 episodes away. Yes, you were saying. Sorry.
no, I was saying that this whole concept of nobility and houses, this is the whole thing, right? It keeps coming up again and again. Even Korea at a point thinks that maybe they made a mistake, that
Yeah.
hostages are between noble houses,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Hout is not a noble man, maybe he's a commoner, and she's very shocked. The whole chapter is Korea being appalled by everything that's happening around her. This guy has guests, and she
Guests. And
she's even
Jagged having
surprised
guests.
by the way he's eating and all that. I didn't really follow. What does disengage the lower jaw mean? I don't know. Is it like
So he
the
has
way
tusks,
snakes
right?
do?
He
Yeah.
has tusks, and his tusks move aside, and he bites.
Oh, I'm assuming the tusks move aside this way because they're upturned.
I don't know how tusks are on Jagged. I don't know Jagged
They're
anatomy.
upturned. They're mentioned again and again. Upturned.
I would have to ask Selkas Ruin, who is renowned
It's
Jagged
mentioned
urologist.
everywhere.
But I wouldn't know exactly how Jagged yeah. So
No,
I'm guessing it's
upturned.
upturned. So
And that's when Hood can do the thing with Calm, was it? Whose face did he bite?
Equity.
Someone, whoever. So that's what he does. Because it is upturned, he's able to get a grip. It made sense to me. Because I kept
Get a
thinking,
grip.
what is the whole point of having tusks which are upturned? Because most of the time we see like wild animals with downturned fangs so that they can bite.
Mm-hmm.
But Jagged can bite upwards. So I don't know. I find it very fun. It's gory and gross, and it's fun. So why are you talking about tusks now? Or because of how eating at the table with
Yeah.
with the people?
It should also be noted that at some point Osurk has to grow tusks as well, but
But only in Esselmont's book.
only
Nowhere
in
else.
Nesselmon's book.
In one book. I don't think it's comes up repeatedly. It comes up only once, I believe. No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's all in Internal Crimson Guard. So
After that, he loses his tusks.
yeah, well, he probably files them off, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
He's ashamed of it like Hellboy. So,
We're really not coordinator right now. So yeah,
No, because we finished most of the discussion during the
yeah.
episode summary. So
Anyway, so that's about how, right? So he's lower jaw disengaged, and he eats raw meat, apparently like a Jesus. Well, next is Galderbarras, which is
oh, before that, the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
Galden thing and all that.
Oh yeah,
The PTSD and the veterans. So this is actually a society which is still reeling from the impact, right?
Mhm.
Like maybe like a post World War type of a situation where people are recovering. They're coming back to normalcy, but still there is a lot of burden, and there is no peace. Poor Draconis. All he wants is that's why he's going to impose peace on them. Yeah. So
Peace by
it's a,
Dragonibur. Yeah, very fun. Great, good guy, Dragonus. Wrote it
But-
one-handed. He did.
oh god, that's we're seeing that in
Seriously,
chapter
we're getting
5.
off track.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And yeah, you were saying
you
about
mentioned you
Gallerbarras.
mentioned like society is still reeling
Yeah, it's
from.
still reeling, and there is a threat of civil war. And on top of that, they're all distracted because life's thirsty. It's a thirsty race. Honestly, it's a bit much, isn't it? If Ilga's trend was not there, I would think that they're all exactly the same. It's only because his POV comes up that I know that okay, this is not really like their normal thing. It's only the new emergence of like Mother Dark and all that. That's why they have this priestesses and the whole cult and all that. So
Which
anyway,
I'm going to bitch about when we get there. But
about the high priestess.
just goddamn it, like seriously, he this close, this goddamn
Ilga's
close.
trend. We might as well finish it now. Why don't we? We don't have to go in an order. Tell me what
So-
Ilga's trend.
Basically, he concludes that Mother Dark has not blessed necessarily the rituals that her priestesses conduct in her name. And he basically just goes out and says that if this is all it takes, just stick a cock in a cunt and be done with it. Make a temple of every whorehouse and be done with it. Just there, worship, faith. No, that's not what faith should be. It's not what worship should be. It's not like this trend comes up again and again, especially from the Border Swords, that traditions existed for a reason. And now they've been morphed, they've been warped, they've been changed for no apparent reason beyond it's what our forefathers did before us. And no one remembers why. Why are we banging all the time in the Mother Dark's name? I don't know. We're just doing it because it's fun, because we're heist. And then he blows it by saying that Mother Dark blesses this.
She does, doesn't she?
Fuck, no. She doesn't say anything because the point is that they need to figure it out themselves. This is not faith.
We
This is not what
know
worship
that,
is.
But see, that is the whole point. If she doesn't open her mouth, people are going to attribute these things to her implicit consent. So I don't think
Yes,
that is.
and that's the problem that the Tiste are facing. That's exactly, you just described the problem.
Ilga
And
is
that's
not
why I'm
doing
pissed at
anything.
Rand, because he's this fucking close to solving it.
Poor Ilga's friend.
And he dies like an idiot, too. Like, oh my
That is
god.
still there away. Why do you have to bring that up now?
Because I'm still angry about it. I'm miffed. Like, he almost solves the entire problem that permeates almost 3 books now. In like the first 4 chapters. And then he blows it at the last minute. And then he just goes off and says, okay, whatever. I'm just going to go kill Hunral because whatever. Just, god damn it.
Okay.
And the
Tell
same
me
is
when you
true.
recover.
The same is
What?
true of Finara Stone and her separation of faith and government. And just this fucking close, man. This close. So she mentions the philosopher's notion of separation of faith and government, which is fascinating because that is like an enlightenment concept. The separation of powers, judicial, executive, and
Legislative.
probably,
That's the way I learned. Yeah.
yeah. And the separation of church and state is a fairly new concept to Europe, and probably a fairly new concept to the world at large. I bring up Europe because I'm from Europe, and that's the place I've studied extensively. I don't know if it was brought up in Hindu India in the 1300s, I would not be surprised, to be honest with you.
I would be surprised because I don't know any of those things.
But yeah, the fact that like Tiste philosophers have brought these things up, and now, like, how many years has it been? 10 years, 15 years since Mother Dark's ascension, and they went back on all of this, and this has been dubbed treacherous thought. It's just fuck. I know you mentioned earlier that it's meant to get you riled up, and it is getting me riled up because god damn it, people. Just this close to being like.
I think we should just title this as Lee Lee being miffed. Anything more? Anything more you want to rant about in this
Like,
episode?
the only person that takes this notion to the fucking limit is Galar Barris.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he rips the Forked Sail a new one, and it's the most satisfying thing I've read in Full Protagonist
Tell
so
me
far.
about that. I'm sure I don't remember what exactly.
Basically, he goes that the Forked Sail have created peace by imposing order, and so peace would serve order. But in order to maintain order, you have to break peace, right? Because you have to apprehend through violence individuals that break order. So you break peace, and then ad infinitum. And the paradox arises, and that paradox is precisely what Eurosander has been dealing with the last chapter, right? Of
at the core is subjugation.
not that he has a dilemma, which he basically says that let us consider the notion that laws must be enforcing manners of civil conduct, and also let us consider that a law would uphold the notion that someone ought not be harmed. I'm paraphrasing a lot to the point of like reductiveness, but the point is his laws seek to protect human lives, or Tiste lives, from Tiste in general from physical and mental harm, but in order to enforce said laws, they have to, prosecute and then create mental and physical harm. Hence the dilemma. The Assail just glossed over that dilemma completely and said, fuck it, yeah. If it works, it works. And so Galar looks at this like, no, that's not how that works at all. This is stupid. No. Order should serve peace, not the other way around. Peace should not serve order. Peace should not be subservient to order, which is a theme. And he brings up that only the fearful would kneel before order. And this is a theme that's brought up in the Book of the Fallen in House of Chains by Leandris, one of the Jade Souls that Hyperborean talks to.
Yeah.
That to kneel before order is being a blind fool. It is the stepping outside of oneself that gifts a mortal with virtue. Kneel before order, you blind fool. Order. I was speaking of compassion.
Yeah.
These people have solved it. These people get it. The Forkle don't, because the Forkle is stupid, and Eurosander has argued himself into a corner, because can we somewhat agree that his goals are actually laudable?
Whose goals?
Eurosander's goals of like establishing laws.
Definitely, yeah.
The manner with which he's going about it is inherently flawed, and he has argued himself into a corner that he can't get out of.
No, the thing is, he's not gone about it in any way. He's just thinking about it, right? I don't know. He's not done anything. So,
because in doing, he already indirectly dooms himself. But that's a discussion for way later. We'll get to that a lot because it's something I want to touch upon a lot. But the Assail have put forth their proclamations, their prescriptions, their rules, their laws of civil conduct, and if that breaks peace in order for us to enforce it, fuck it, who cares? Peace is subservient to order. For the Tiste, for Galar, that should not be the case. Order should not be subservient to peace. No, order should be subservient to peace, not the other way around. Because otherwise, it is enforced through fear and through violence and through power, and that is just not a great way to go about things. And then he concludes that Mother Dark, in her passive imposition of order by existing, she exists, and in her name, people can find order, because as long as Mother Dark exists, there is some notion of central rulership, there is someone behind which every Tiste can rally. she is a bulwark against chaos, and so she is the embodiment of work and justice, but they are too stupid to realize it. Like, yes, thank you. Like, even if he's wrong, which he probably is, but even if he's wrong, he at least takes his rational thought to the very logical limit without, like, breaking halfway. It's so fucking satisfying because finally someone can do that. Someone among the dice can actually think.
I actually missed that Galar Barras was also a border sword at some point.
Good
But
God.
I kind of glazed over that.
Sorry. Yeah,
no problem.
most of the
Look at
Khas
that.
Legion were border swords, right? And Torres
Yeah.
and pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that bit of.
Good God. I'm sorry. I'm just really like
Are you
thinking
tired
back
now?
on it. No. I'm not tired. I'm just angry. I'm miffed. We'll probably start again, but I'm like actually irrationally angry at these people who are being
I
like
know.
dense. Okay.
Yes. There was
yeah.
a sad thing in. Sorry, I'm trying to open that page. It's not opening. I think this is Galden who thinks that love has no limbs at all.
Yeah.
Is it him or Sandaleth?
Yeah. It's called him.
Him. Yeah. The whole thing is extremely sad.
Love has no limbs at all, and if someone wants to, they can like leave it in the dust. They can kick it. They can, and if he had 2 hands, he would stab it through the heart.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you want a hug? Do you need a hug?
Maybe he needs his sneakers.
Probably. Yeah.
So yeah. Now those are just some of the highlights I made. So I'm just going through that.
Sorry, I just went on a really long tangent. So if you have anything to bring up, please do. Because
Hardly. No, most of it I think we've been talking. You can just ask me something because I have a lot of.
We didn't talk about Faror or Finara or Triss or Serenas at all.
Blade, did we cover that?
We did
What exactly
say
is
that like
the
Spinnock has
awakening?
it. No, we did not talk about. No, we did not talk about that.
There is something like there is a heart line, is what they have discovered, right? That comes out of this chapter, isn't it? That they have discovered there is a heart line for each blade, and that sort of makes it alive. Sort of, you can assume that the blade is alive, and it's a new technology, so they're still working with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see that. We have not yet seen it, right? We're going to see that whole thing soon. I'm not sure when exactly it comes.
What whole thing?
The whole screaming husk blades, or is it already there?
Yeah, I mean, Yadan has one, Selgas has one.
Oh, I mean that is all much in the future, right? In this Forge of Darkness era, have they all started using these blades?
Yes. The host resupply thing.
That was the new blades. That was all the screaming blades. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So this was good. Kalaras and Galar Boras was fun. He just casually asked.
Yeah, I did mention like Galaras as being like a dick to Galar, and isn't there a lot of like Galar is thinking about a whole lot of things, and like Galar's like, oh god, this guy is a bit of a mute, isn't he? So, yeah, poor guy.
No, but then immediately he becomes so nice, and I think slowly Kalaras finds out that this guy, he's so worried because they're going to see Taurus in that place. So he figures that out soon. So it's very sad. Is that next chapter? That's going to be a little sad.
Chapter 6.
6, I think, yeah. So, do you want to ask me anything about the Glimmer Fate chapter? Do you have anything to say there?
So we said there's something about a Finara stone, which we said wasn't important, and we didn't bring it up.
The indifferent shadows.
The indifferent shadows. Yeah.
Indifferent shadows. I wonder why. Please remind me. I honestly don't know. I know this is foreshadowing, but I don't remember what exactly.
I made a very stupid mistake in assuming that Pharaoh Hand and Finara Stone are pretty much the same person, and it took me looking back to realize that it was not, in fact, Pharaoh Hand that later became Twilight, the first Twilight. We know
Finara becomes the first Twilight.
Yes. Well,
okay.
I should note. The first is a bit of a speculation. We don't know if she's the first. Just like we don't know if Narad's the first again. we're getting there. But
Spoilers.
she becomes Twilight, and then Shaganda dies. But so I thought Farrer was that, and some guy made a post on the sub about Farrer being Edgewalker,
Yeah.
and I was like,
was
okay,
it in
well,
that post that you replied that?
yes. And I made a reply saying, okay, well, didn't Farrer Hen become like Twilight? And then I had the parentheses, maybe that was Finara Stone, and I'm just confusing the two as I always do, and then just like, it was. So I like strike through the entire text and said, oh, fuck, it is.
I think I remember that. Yeah,
I'm still thinking about it and I'm being embarrassed. So, yeah. But yeah,
No, but
Finara
I don't
Stone.
think you should be embarrassed because that
Yeah.
post title was Farrer Hen being Edgewalker. I don't think anyone else can be more embarrassed. Oh,
It
God,
was
Farrer Hen.
it was a great
Edgewalker.
post,
It was, yeah.
especially about the bit about Edge Walker being the same as Porter Sword. That was fucking hilarious. I shouldn't be mean, but like, goddamn, like that was inspired.
But she isn't even a border sword.
True.
Yeah.
It was inspired. I'm telling you.
I mean,
But yeah. That was my story about Finara Stone, and she becomes Twilight. So
and
she
why
has.
does Sharina's Ankadu have tanned skin? Like, she prefers the sun. What does she become? Like, what is Sukul Ankadu is? What
Shukul is Andy.
Okay.
Sukul is Andy, Menandor is Leosin, and Sheltatha is Cedar.
Sheltatha is the dusk. The mortal one.
Yeah.
Dapple. Dr.
Dapple is Sukul. Sukul is Dapple.
Sukul is Dapple.
Sheltatha is Sister Dusk. Menandor is Sister
See?
Dawn.
See? I'm so glad you're confused because I'm not the only one.
So yeah, Sukul and Kadu, who does appear later, is Sister Dapple, and I believe she's this
So that's why
Sister Andy.
How can Dapple beat Andy?
Hang on, I'll look up the definition because I remember looking it up.
I remember looking it up too, but I don't remember. Let's not look up now. Can we just look up later?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe she's not Andy. I don't remember.
Sukul
but yeah, she's not.
Called,
yeah.
Sukul is a soul-taken Elite goddess of the Tiste. She was known as Dapple, the fickle sister. This is what Wiki says. Okay, before this, can we just take a moment to think, what do we know about these three sisters from Book of the Fallen? They are Scavendari's daughters.
Yeah, they're all Scavendari's daughters. Shaltatha Lore is the mother of Envy and Spite. Menandor is I think Menandor is supposed to be Ostric's progeny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not related to Scavendari, but like everyone's a daughter together, but like she's actually Ostric's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Which none of this lines up with Kirkana's, by the way, if you're wondering. Like, nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And there's also, I think recently also someone was asking, there is Mother Dark and there is Father Light. And who the hell is Father Shadow?
Yeah. And also the Sheikh are not actually the Sheikh. So
here, I still don't know. I still don't have any idea. So I'll find out when we read. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to acknowledge that nothing makes sense basically.
So yeah,
from what we know.
Yeah. So Finara is probably going to be Sheikh eventually, maybe potentially. Triss exists.
Yeah,
Triss is a thing, and now we know how her name came to be.
So
which we knew her as Triss to be an ascended human sorceress, and now she's not.
Is that what we were thinking about Triss?
Yeah.
That I did not know that.
And Ro was very disappointed because she was. Yeah.
But isn't Triss the one we see in one of the Notmies, the washerwoman appearing one? Wasn't that Triss?
Blood and Bone, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I do like her.
So as far as I know, Triss and Kaladin and Rake were pretty much played by Steve all at once. So
There was also Envy, isn't it? In the original gang. Also,
yes,
Rake, Envy for a while.
they
And
changed.
probably
There is no original gang because the original gang broke up a lot of times. So, but yeah, Kaladin, Triss, and Rake were all Steve's characters, and he played them at once. So
okay.
he knows all these people. Just don't doubt him. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And there is this parallel of Triss emerging from the Reven here, and also in Blood and Bone,
Which is fucking cool.
which is
I love the detail. Just
I know.
goddamn.
Yeah.
Which
So now
raises
we
the
know
question of
why-
how did they get Victor in Kontali, but
we know.
we're not
Now
going to
we
get
know.
into that now.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what I was going to say.
yeah. So
Right. Okay. And I think we have given enough pity to Kagamata to less. Does he deserve more? Poor guy.
yes,
He does?
yes. I mean, so
I'm waiting to see
Sharina's
his
actually
POV.
Sharina's is actually a pretty big. She's kind of like she pulls like a Lars on him, right? So she follows him around because she wants to see the pathos of him meeting his fiance, and then Tulas kind of turns on her like, "Why are you with me?" And like, okay, well, I'm kind of with you because I want to see you suffer, but like that's like a bit unbecoming of me. So do you want to be friends?
Mhm.
So yeah, Sharina does have cojones, right? She does have like. Sharina definitely improves a lot as the book goes on, especially in interpersonal
I mean,
relationships.
she's not bad here, but it's
No,
just
not at all. Like her sense of duty and courage is very pronounced, and her interpersonal relationships improve quite a bit. And her and Tulas definitely complement each other very well later, so that's something to look forward to. I don't remember more about Tulas, to be honest.
even I don't. So I'm actually waiting for his POV because all these people saying he's empty and he's a husk and all that. I want to see like how exactly he is in his mind. I think we're done. Do you have more?
I mean, the more is from later chapters. This chapter we don't really see much. I did mention that it gets explained about how Triss, apparently she fashioned a sword,
Okay.
but she didn't know how because she could only fashion things she had seen before, but she didn't remember how a sword looked. But like, I think it was Finara or Shireen. No, wasn't I don't remember. Someone came
Finara
up
had
to
a
the
sword in her hand when she was walking. Yeah.
Sharina's or someone, probably Sharina's, finds a discarded pile of armor and the sword in like near where Triss emerged, and then like Farrer asks her like, okay, but how did you cut your hair? You fashioned a sword to cut down these wolves in your hair without ever seeing a sword. And like, yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Okay.
But that's for next chapter. It's very, very interesting. It's actually one of my favorite chapters in the book so far. Chapter 6.
6. Okay.
And chapter 7. Chapter 7, I think, is the Triss one. Chapter 6 is your Sander and company. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
So we'll save the Triss discussion until then. Is there something I'm forgetting?
No. No, I think we are done. We just
Oh, also, yeah, Hunral prostitutes his 3 cousins because that's just the man he is.
and Hindral is from the Isgin line, and one of his cousins' name is
His name's Serap, and she gets her head cut off, and yeah, so
and
that happens.
again, people get disappointed at that at this.
It's so it's extremely unexpected too because it's it just kind of happens. Like Serap just gets finished killing a whole bunch of dudes that try to assault her, and she sits down for a beer with Serena's and they talk for a little bit, and then Serena says something about honor and reconstitution, and Serap is okay, how are you gonna do that? Cuts off her side. What the fuck, Steve? So yeah, that's
We'll keep
why
that for
people
that chapter. Yeah.
are surprised. Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, Serap of the Iskin line is dead. In both the Book of the Fallen and in this book, just in wildly different ways.
I mean, these skins might have had more than one setup. So.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's my theory.
Okay. Right.
But would there be anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Let's wind up.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. And thank you for listening. We all listened to you this episode. Yeah.
Yeah. No, please take it away.
I hope you recover before the next one.
So yeah,
Okay.
next episode should ideally feature more of Mora rather than me just talking for 50 minutes. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.